So before I recount what happened, let me get something abundantly clear. I am not crazy. I'm a semi-perfectly functional human being, and in no way insane or a murderer or anything. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let me share with you something. It was 3 a.m. when I woke up to the sound of countless different alarms pinging on everyone's phones. Our director, the tall, charismatic Mr. Eagle, asked everyone to set up alarms so we would wake up on time to get on the bus. And yeah, you heard me right. We got up at 3 a.m. for a band competition. Suck on that, football players. Now, today was our big day. The band collectively had been practicing since the beginning of August, and I have to admit, we were pretty good. That's why we were now getting dressed for our BOA San Antonio Super Regional Competition. Big fancy words, I know, but basically it's just a bunch of band kids performing and trying to see who's best. Sounds nerdy, but it's fun and it's what we do, so stop judging. After getting dressed and loading up on our super fancy new charter buses, I tried to lay down in my seat and drift back into sleep. However, I soon found out that it was a near impossible task. Annoyingly enough, every small bump and pothole slammed my head into the window. So I elected to stay up rather than making my already bruised bump on my head any larger. I sighed and sat up, looked over my friend Clay sitting in the seat adjacent to me, his arm wrapped around his girlfriend and my best friend Laura. "I can't sleep," I said. He looked up at me and nodded, stretching his arms out a ways before putting them back around Laura. "Yeah, me neither," I said defeatedly. Now, I'm an early bird, but 3 a.m. was really pushing it, considering that I don't get much sleep in the first place. Well, as a teenager, I guess no one gets sleep that much. I don't remember a bunch about the bus ride, but to be perfectly honest, there's something strange about being on the brink of unconsciousness, yet still being awake. I'd be impressed if anyone could remember anything in that state. It's like a dream. Is it just me? Questions for later. Our school was Klein Oak High, located in Spring, Texas. I'm not sure if I'm going to get out of my predicament at the moment, so I don't really care about disclosing my location, and you can deal with that. From Klein Oak to San Antonio, it was about a 4-hour bus ride. The students, all band kids, including me, once I fully woke up, passed the time by watching movies, talking, playing collective games with each other, and I gotta admit, it was one of the more pleasant parts of that day. Well, compared to what happened later. I was in the middle of the Polar Express when Laura kicked me in the leg. "Ah, what?" I said, yanking out my headphones. "I said, we're almost there. Look, the outskirts of the city are right there." I looked out the window on my right, and I gotta say, the sight of city skylines never failed to impress me. Buildings scraping the sky with more lights, cars, roads than you can count. "Wait a minute," I said. "Why are there barely any cars out? It's a freaking city." "It's also 6:30, and how many people are up this early that you know?" Clay added, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "You'd be surprised. I'm shocked you're even able to wake up this early," I said, smirking. "Thank you," he replied simply. Finally, after a half hour of driving through the oddly near empty streets, we rolled into the parking lot of the stadium, the Alamo Dome. Honestly, I wasn't even sure which football team played there, but Texas BOA has been using it for competition for decades. "Alright, start getting dressed," he yelled at our bus chaperone. "We go to warm-up circles in 30 minutes. We have tacos." I know it's odd and off-topic to think about, but for some reason that last statement didn't seem to fit the rest of the sentence. But I just shrugged it off. We put on our uniforms while I went through my mental checklist of all the items I needed. Phone, hat, gloves, gauntlets, trumpet, sunglasses for style, charger, secret cookie I stuffed in my uniform pocket, and, you know what, I think I'm good, I thought. I walked down the aisle and out the front doors of the bus and out onto the lot. So did the 300 of my other peers. I took a moment to look at all of them, to look at the sky, to look at the buses, to look at the old, bricked up stadium that we were about to walk in. I was even about to close my eyes and take in a deep breath when slam! Next thing I knew, I was on my back looking up at the sky. Wade had knocked me over while trying to get his trombone unstuck from the bottom compartment of the bus. Clayton, who was next to him, laughed, and then helped me up. "Nice one, Wade," I said, enjoying the laughter. Wade was another one of my band's friends. He apologized to me for knocking me over and quickly went to grab his breakfast taco, followed by Laura and Clay, and finally by me. After this short meal, I joined the rest of my trumpet section in our warm-up circle. I walked up to another one of my friends, Roberto Martinez, but we just called him Bobby. I took a moment to give him a once-over. He looked nervous, and something looked off about him. "Bobby, what did you..." But before I could finish, I spotted what had happened. He forgot his shoes. Are you still gonna march?" I asked incredulously. "Well, of course. What's wrong? Did something happen?" I took a moment, looked him in the eye, and said, You're not wearing shoes?" He took an even longer moment and stared right back, before replying with 2 words. "No, you." I shook my head. "Come on, let's get the boys together and warm up. We perform in 10. Each section is divided up into circles, and we warm up on our own before the director calls us together to warm up together. The process is long, and I won't bore you with the details. Safe to say, everything, besides Bobby, was normal and going according to plan. We went into the stadium, onto the field, and performed the best show that we could. Perfectly normal. Walking back to the bus, everyone was asking each other how they did. Bobby asked me, and I told him it was my personal best for the season. "Me too," he replied. Sure you did," I said, looking down at his shoeless feet. Back on the bus, I changed out of my uniform and into regular clothes. I picked up my string backpack with all the bare necessities for watching other bands for a few hours, and Laura and Clay did the same. "Hey, bring a jacket. It's usually cold inside there," I told my friends while slinging the pack over my shoulder. Clay, the ever-loving tough guy he was, looked at me, smiled, and said, "Make me." "Oh, I will," I winked. "Okay, I'm gonna leave you two alone now. Have fun with that," Laura said, running down the steps of the bus. We laughed and chased after her. I was about to make another joke, but decided against it. It's kind of pointless at this point. Walking back to the stadium, I kept having this weird feeling, like something was wrong, but I just couldn't figure out exactly what it was. Walking by, I saw that another band was about to perform. They were going into the warm-up room. They were all dark. It was weird. Next thing I know, we took our seats after getting absurdly overpriced pizza and drinks. Watched band after band perform for the next few hours. Most of them were good, some were bad, and one of them I remember really well because they had a flute player on a swing. Yeah, on a swing. The night was fun, but then the last band took the field to perform. It was the one I saw going into the warm-ups. And that's when everything went wrong very fast. "Finally, last one," Clay said, kicking his legs up and putting his arms behind his head. As much as I loved watching band perform, I had to agree with Clay. "Yeah, but I mean, I'm still gonna miss them, though. I'm just gonna miss this," I remarked, finishing my last piece of pizza. "Shh, guys, it's about to start," Laura interrupted. The band finally took their spots on the field. Their uniforms were a harsh shade of jet black. I can see them a lot more clearly now. Their plumes black, their shoes black, even their gloves were black. Everything was black. Annoyingly black, I agreed with Clay. "Set," the female drum major shouted, calling the rest of the band to attention. I was ready to watch a perfectly normal marching band show and go home feeling good for the day. But that idea was quickly squashed when the lights went out. Now, when the lights go out in a stadium with no windows and no see-through doors, keep in mind that the Alamodome was very old, there was absolutely no natural light. So, we were now submerged in pitch black darkness. Now, normally in this situation, I would think about panicking. Others around me outright started the panic, and were harshly cut off by a loud booming voice coming from the speaker.
Attention staff, the experiment has officially begun. Students, the rules are simple. Survive 72 hours. By the end, only one band may remain. And be free to let go. You may use any means necessary to survive. Good luck.
While Lauren Clay debated beside me on what to do next, I only had one thought that ran through my mind. I don't exactly know what he meant by that, but I have a feeling this isn't going to be a normal band competition. Thank you for listening to my story. It's part 1 of a series I'm probably going to be working on. And if you want to hear more, I will be posting more. Just comment and like, and I'll know to post more. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.
You got to breathe to find a way. I'll wait you through these things away.